What's up, everyone? It's me, Adam Prime, and we are back. Even though it must not feel like we're back some days, but we are back for another TokuBrew Podcast, This Week in Toku, even though it's probably several weeks behind, because we're almost in like an unannounced hiatus, because I got lazy. Currently, only episode 37 has been fully edited. I'm sorry they're not that timely. Yeah, this is 41. It's 41. Yeah. You know how much time it has to do to...
I mean, I'm not judging. Like, I don't do that work, but you're that far? I thought you were pretty caught up on that not that long ago. What happened?
12 Days of Writer. That's what happened. All my focus went into making sure I had all 12 of my videos, which I did, and then afterwards, instead of me being like, hey, I should at least edit those podcasts, work my way through them.
You didn't.
No, I was like, I want a break, and I stopped. But we were recording, which I think was the important part. And the interesting thing is, I can now hear, like, our thoughts, and, like, as I'm editing them, I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot we said that. So yeah, we're not going to be timely, are we?
Apparently not.
But where we left off when...
By the way, hi, I'm Stormy.
Yes, my co-host, my fiance.
I think this...
The time has passed?
I think the time has passed.
Aw, oh, damn. Is it like the Decker episode? The time has passed?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
Okay. Again, like I said, this isn't going to be timely. But where we left off, where we last recorded this, because we are recording these on the week these episodes came out.
That part's on time.
Yeah, so that recording was interesting. But, oh yeah, wait, we're in 2023 now. Were we in 2023 last time we recorded?
No, I think we said Happy New Year last episode, though. Hey, Happy New Year, though.
But yeah, we're in...
No, we were saying Merry Christmas last episode.
No, that was the one before it.
Was it?
Yes, it was 38.
Anyway, it's 2023 now. Happy New Year. I almost said Merry Christmas.
So yeah, I guess this is also somewhat back from the hiatus. But we have a recap episode from Decker, so we will blow past that really quick. And then we'll get into what I'm just going to call is the dense wall that is Don Brothers and Geets this week.
It's kind of a good thing that this was kind of a nothing episode from Decker because...
Yeah, I'm about to say, no point in talking about news, by the way.
Like, the podcast is already probably going to be pretty long because those two episodes are just so condensed with plot. But, like, because Decker only has, like, what, 2-3 episodes left?
The Chronicle show is supposed to start on the 28th. So, where we are right now...
We have, like, maybe 2 episodes left.
Yeah, we have, like, the episode premiering on the 13th, which is today, and the 20th, and that's it. I think that's it for Decker.
And it's probably a good thing because, like, this podcast would have been, like, what, at least an hour and a half long, probably, if all 3 were just plot dense.
Yeah. So, let's just talk about this real quick. It's literally a recap episode, but it's almost like the people who made it knew, because it was literally, oh my god, I still don't know.
Middle of, like, a giant attack, right?
Well, yeah, like, the Mother Sphere just showed up. You remember that? Last episode, Trigger was just like, what are you? And it's like, the Mother Sphere was like, and then you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah? You were there in space? Floating?
No, watching the space.
It pretty much is it Hota? Is that his name? The old man that's hanging out with Mormalu?
I don't remember.
Like, it's
like, why are we doing a recap episode?
Yeah,
the world is ending.
Yeah, he's like, oh my god, isn't the world ending? And then Mormalu's like, dude, it's Tuesday. This happens almost every time. It's gonna work out. And then it even has this part where he's like, do I know too much? And that was kind of funny. So like I said, these recap episodes are a little bit fun, but they even go into like dense endgame Trigger recaps, which I get somewhat why. But we are nearing the end of the show. I do not need a recap episode.
Yeah, it's like, we don't need a recap this close to the end. That was kind of ridiculous.
Alright, so let's call that there. Do you have anything else to say?
No, not really at all.
Outside of just some of those, like, funny moments. Like, again, him just freaking out.
I've got nothing, honestly. Want to move on?
Oh, wait, what about that one lady with the weird sleeves?
Oh, yeah, she had really freaking weird sleeves. They, like, hugged the top the top part of her arm, and then, like, turned into bell sleeves, and then, like, cinched, so they were just, like, she just had floppy forearms. I don't know.
I don't even know if I'm gonna get a screenshot of that. I probably won't because it's a recap episode, so it don't matter. So, yeah, let's just move on.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
Alright, so Dawn Brothers.
Oh my god, this
Woo!
week, Dawn Brothers. Remember when this was This Week in Dawn Brothers? Like,
yeah.
like 40 weeks ago?
I'm so sad this show is ending.
It's ending soon. And this...
And that'll be, like, the first show we've, like, started and completed on the show, huh?
No, Decker's gonna beat it. In ending.
That's true.
Decker's gonna beat it to the punch.
Well,
It came later.
I guess, like, a long-running show. Like Sentai or...
Well, it's coming on the full year, I guess you can say. It's like, you know what I mean?
I guess we've been doing this for almost about a year now, then, huh?
About. You have to think, yeah.
About?
We started somewhere in February,
Somewhere.
and this is beating our other show, like, into the ground. like our other show, the main Toku Brew is, like in the single digits.
We'll do another one just later, and that's not around the holiday times, and then we still haven't done it. I'm so sorry.
We still need to finish Black Sun.
God, so much stuff to watch.
Too much stuff to talk about, man. We want to do these things, but lives.
It's just real. It is legitimately hard to, like, find the time to watch all of these things sometimes. Like, it's sometimes difficult. Obviously, like, we've been able to, like, keep everything on track, at least filming wise, with, like, the big three, I guess. But, like, man, it's really hard to, like, some days it's really
remember
hard.
when you remember when we had a point in our lives as, like, not adults when you had free time?
Yeah.
Those were
I miss
days.
free time.
To be adults with jobs. That's not about Dawn. Well, actually, I guess that is somewhat to do with Dawn Brothers.
I guess.
Weirdly. Because, God, where do we start, even? I don't even know where to
I guess, like, it kind of starts with, like,
Haruka with a manga.
Kinda.
Oh, with the...
Because Tsubasa has, like, his memory jog, because he's talking to the police. They get his, like...
Yeah, he's no longer on the run.
Again.
Finally.
And there's, like, you remember anything? He's like, nope. And then, like, there's, like, this black mascot bear
trying to
costume,
hand him...
like, black bear costume. Trying to, like, hand him, like, a coupon or something. And then it, like, jogs his memory. He remembers that a pink bear costume came in, like...
The bunny costume. It's the onga.
It's a bear.
It's a bunny.
Oh yeah. I remember the ears flopping.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to look up the name because it's like I can't remember how to say it, so I'm looking it up right now. But it's the person who Haruka supposedly plagiarized. Put a pin in that for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, like I honestly completely forgot about this character. To be fair.
Well, I don't think we've seen them since that, like,
very beginning.
Well, the first time.
Stuff.
Well, no, the first time I think we saw them was in the Sonaza, when Sonaza kidnapped her. Remember? And he was just like, "Hey, I want you to make this manga with me. This manga."
The thing was like, with like like when they became a plagiarist, like.
Yeah.
Saw them, like, signing papers and, like, autographs or something.
That was later.
Was that later?
That was later.
Either way, it was, like, early show.
Yeah. So, like, it's been a little bit, and like, yeah, that's, by the way, this is pretty much the resolve of that plot. But yeah, no, so, Tsubasa apparently got freed from the forest by them. Which you're then just, like, I guess blows two theories out, that it wasn't Taro and it wasn't Sononi.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even Tsubasa, since we saw that in the preview.
Yeah, we know it's not Tsubasa. So, what... oh my god, there's just so much. And, like, another Murasame pops up.
And they have gold.
and they have gold. Like, it's just... Also, like, that was a really nice suit. Like, they didn't change much. It's kind of just funny.
But, yeah, so the second Murasame shows up out of a sky vagina.
Out of the sky vagina.
The sky vagina, if you will. But
yeah. And it wants to
Tsubasa,
kill the bunny.
Yeah. And, because he goes to... Here's the thing, like, after he has this realization...
Oh my god, yeah,
he goes
I
to the
forgot.
Cafe, and he, like, draws it out. And it's like, you laugh so hard when they reveal it.
It's the world's shittiest drawing.
And then Haruka actually, like, recognizes it, and he's like, take me to them! So that's how they ended up finding them. And then Don Murasame shows up.
Nokai Shinya. That was the bunny costume mascot. The mysterious manga artist.
But,
But
I don't think that's how it's pronounced, but whatever. I'm not going to get on you for that.
I don't know.
And that's why they end up there. And then they get pushed over, and the head falls off, and we see who it is.
It's Haruka.
From the future.
From the future, which earlier in the episode, Haruka was trying to show everyone her manga, and...
She's like, they're like, oh, isn't them from the future a little contrived? Oh, I thought they were twins. Or...
They make this joke exactly later.
Like...
Yeah, exactly. Jiro's there, and she's just like, I don't want to talk to you. And Jiro's just like... Yeah.
He's just trying to be supportive and be like, it's good.
Yeah, exactly. And then when she brings her future self to the Donbra, they do the joke again.
Mm-hmm. Never mind.
Like, there's just so much just to talk about there, where it's like, we find out why she's here in a little bit. We'll talk about that. But I keep saying but a lot, because there's just I just keep having to think, being like, okay, what else was in this episode? Because there was just so much at once. Like, you find out the Don Murasame... Like, I'm just going to do the Don Murasame stuff real quick, because pretty much this Don Murasame is just an assassin here to kill the future Haruka. Like, that's
and
his...
also, they don't have the mother voice.
Yeah, they don't have the mother. Like, the episode ends with it getting defeated, and, like, mother was just like, wait, do you have... And which...
have a mother?
Yeah, exactly. Which...
Or, like, are you without a mother or something?
Yeah, exactly. And it made me wonder, because this was a theory that we had early on, what if that was, like, the Naoto's, like, programming to, like, keep Murasame on track and not, like, be used against them? Because we know it's an artificial thing for the Dawn clan.
Because, by the way, so, I do want to get this a bit out of the way, even though it is a little bit further ahead. These guys aren't exactly from the future of this world. They're also from another dimension. Apparently.
Well, space-time, an alternate timeline.
Yeah. They Ultramanned it, essentially.
So their future is not necessarily our future. By the way, this Don Murasame came in on a motorcycle.
He looked pretty cool.
Vroom, vroom. But yeah, no. So it's like, it really does make you wonder, where it's like, is Murasame A gonna lose mother, or is this just an alternate version of Murasame that doesn't have mother? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, because that's what they stay in place, because there's a couple other things that are different, because they show things being similar but different. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, for instance, another character that we get introduced to.
Saruhara.
We get a second Saruhara from the future.
Which she called Shin. So I guess let's just call him Shin for less confusion.
Yeah, so future Saruhara is Shin.
There we go.
Then we'll call the future Haruka, and we'll call the one from this show...
Main one, Oni's sister. Okay. Fine. You know how many Harukas there are, though? Just talking about different character-wise.
A lot. There's a lot of Harukas.
Both male and female.
It's a very common name.
In Toku, apparently.
Apparently.
So yeah, Saruhara comes in, and... Well, first Saruhara goes to the bathroom, and then Shin...
orders, like, a tea.
No, Shin comes in. Because you remember, he was at the table with Jiro, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom." And then then Shin walks in, sits down exactly where he was, and he was like, "Oh, wow, that was fast." And then he orders the weird tea, and then Kaido says,
"We don't have it."
And he's just like,
But
He's
we
just
are also well stocked in things that we do not have, and then goes to the back, and then a mysteriously long time passes, and then he eventually
like, who knows what wacky antics he had to go on for that rose tip tea or whatever.
Tea or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Like, did he go on an adventure to get that tea?
And like everyone was reacting to that a lot of like what the something that's that like that you can't that's not here. What's going on? Is it was the tea room right next to the hospital that was in there?
Maybe.
In the surgical room.
Maybe it's down the hall. Who knows?
Maybe it's down the hall. Maybe it's where Juran's at. How would you feel if the Zenkai's was like there's just a room there, they're all hanging out?
That would be really funny. I would love that. But we have a lot of ground to cover. I feel like we should probably move along a bit.
But yeah, no. So this alternate Sarahara. Do you want to talk about him?
You go ahead.
So I think it's kind of funny they show the differences because did they say if they're just in a relationship or are they married?
I think they said girlfriend boyfriend at some point.
Oh wait, yeah, they're in double love. Whatever what does that mean?
I don't know what that means, and I don't know if I want to find out.
Like, yeah, does it mean like they're allowed to date other people? Like, are they poly? Like,
are they poly? Are they,
like, yeah, like what it does
like,
double love mean?
In love, or
like, yeah, exactly. Because like Haruka's like Oni's sister was like, "You're into that." And all of a sudden, she's just like, no wonder you're not understanding manga. No wonder you're in a slump to her past self. It's like, Jesus.
Past alternative self.
Which, by the way, they're a little... They do feel like different characters a little bit. They do show, like, they have some of the same quirks, but some of the, like, similarities and everything. So I guess... And, like, this Sarahara gets to pay Kaido after he gets him his tea.
Apparently... Not only that, this guy's fucking rich.
Yeah, and he can touch money.
Yeah, he's shitload of money. And he does, I didn't know that this was a thing, but a different kind of poetry, what do they call it?
Tenkai?
Tenkai? Instead of like the 575, I believe.
It's 7.
Haikus, it's like 57577, I believe.
Yeah.
It's basically another form of poetry in a very similar vein.
Yeah. Which, alright, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of one of those where I don't know how to...
Taro comes in, he's just like, well, this is interesting. And Haruka, future Haruka, just kind of fucking decks him straight in the face.
Yeah, she's just saying his full name. Like, and you gotta wonder, it's like, what happens in the future? And Shin says, oh, they're headbutting.
Essentially.
In the Dawn Brothers. Like, there's contention, I guess you can perceive from that.
Mm-hmm. By the way, apparently this whole time our future Haruka has basically just been on vacation.
Yeah, she just came on vacation.
To come on vacation.
While her manga was first getting popular, so she could release it.
She could relive the glory days or whatever.
Yeah, but she says, but it wasn't her past. That's where we find out it's an alternate past, where she's like, it's not exactly the same. And she's just like, wait, then all the plagiarism? Because, yeah, it's like, so it wasn't plagiarism. I guess this...
Technically.
She wrote it herself. Like, it's so fucking insane. And it makes you wonder because it all comes back to the manga and they've been constantly, and they even say in this episode later.
They like drill it in. It's like the answers are in the manga. And I kind of pointed out early on of just like, oh, like what she writes seems to happen, like in a very vague sense, because obviously they didn't have the information we have now. Now it's kind of like basically like pay attention to the manga. That's where the answers are. Like
hidden details of like certain things. Mm-hmm. So it's like it makes me wonder. So is the one that Haruka from the future is like writing and putting on? Was that her
telling?
Like her telling in like her version of her story, and the one Haruka's writing is supposed to be what's going to happen in our timeline, because again, they did specify these are different timelines. Mm-hmm. And unless we're wrong and this like everything is set in stone, we're not sure. We don't know how these rules go, and we'll have to see what the hell happens, you know.
Unless you have anything more to say, there was a detail that we missed.
Which one?
The whole reason that they were able to get away from Don Murasame was because Tsubasa put on the rabbit costume and started to run away.
And he was like way too big for the costume.
You could tell that he was just way too tall for it. And
Yeah.
his run was really dopey sometimes.
Well, like, they were all, like, running with, like, arms out, just like, woo, woo,
And him just like, I can't see. So, that was happening. And then Sononi actually ends up being like, what the fuck are you doing?
Go kill Miho.
And
That's essentially, she then takes the bunny costume.
And she starts running away.
And then, like, during all this conversation and everything, by the way, while we're getting all this info dump, at one moment, Haruka remembers, oh yeah, Tsubasa's out there in the bunny costume.
Shit, I forgot about him.
And, like, Haruka's just like, but I want to finish my manga.
So, like, they stay behind and...
Yeah, and you find out that she pretty much knew, like, Tsubasa was going to be in the forest. So that's why he got out.
Yeah, because she just went in there and grabbed him.
Yeah, and we also find out, I guess, why they didn't get Natsumi. Maybe because Haruka didn't know Natsumi at that point, or in that timeline. And maybe also, well, I guess it is mostly because, like, you saw more cat bestials coming ready to get fucking their asses.
They also helped him cough up the paper.
Yeah, the paper. So yeah, like, it's so interesting, like, and especially, like, you can tell, like, something in their future, something happens with Taro.
Something. We don't fully know what yet.
And we also find out something. Taro doesn't understand dreams. Like, that's something they preface, where it's like...
Which was kind of interesting, because I remember at some point I had mentioned something along the lines of, like, what if, like, because, like, the same thing is kind of with the Naoto of, like, there's something about emotion that they don't understand. Like, there's a certain emotion that they just don't get. And it's, I think at one point I put it out, like, the fact that they don't have imperfections is kind of the cause of that, but we couldn't quite put together, like, how Taro fit into that. And Sarahara basically, or, Shin, our future one, basically spells it out of saying...
You're the one constant.
It's just, like, you don't have the misfortunes that come to people, or you don't experience the misfortunes that people experience. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you don't experience what causes people to dream.
You don't have failures, yeah.
Since you don't fail, you don't know what it feels like to, like, dream about accomplishing something, essentially. Therefore, you don't know how to experience happiness. Because you just get only the immediate gratification. Instead of the long term, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Like, and it just makes you wonder...
You know, happiness is just long-term gratification.
Maybe.
Huh.
And it's very... interesting because it's like it shows you, like, I guess, his ultimate imperfection, you know what I mean, and he doesn't see the point of them.
Yeah.
And he's just
he even questioned
Sonoi
at one point.
He was just like, hey, do you believe in dreams? And he's just like, I'd never.
I don't even want to have one. He's like, good.
Yeah, it's just pretty much good.
And they kiss. I'm kidding.
Oh my god. But, like, and I've seen theories rolling around that, like, I'm telling you this now, I've been saving this. Like, a theory I saw online, I can't remember who had it. If anybody knows whose theory this was, put it down in the comments. And because it's a decent theory that, like, that this show, with how Haruka was reacting, what if Taro leaves at the end? Like, he just decides, like, something happens where, like, the Naoto's world and the humans' world have to separate or something. Taro has to leave because he doesn't belong in that world. You know what I mean? So he has to leave back, but he'll be back someday.
I was worried that it would be like
he dies,
like, to, like, save his companions or something. I almost feel like that might be a little bit better because he won't be dead, and I don't want Taro to die.
Well, then it's like you have to have a way for him to return and for team up movies,
right?
And then maybe again, who knows how this is gonna end? I can't predict it. Like, I honestly can't. Like, maybe he'll leave, maybe he'll die, maybe he won't.
That's one thing. Dawn Brothers has kept us on our toes this whole time.
It's been spectacular.
This has been a great show.
Like, it's something very interesting, and next week doesn't seem to be letting up at all. We will get into that next week. I don't even want to mention anything yet. Like, the preview
honestly,
said enough.
If you want to just not mention the preview, I'm fine with it.
But, like, I don't know. What are your thoughts with the whole thing with the future and everything?
feel like it was both necessary and unnecessary. Because I feel like there was a lot of, like, plot points that they needed to, like, start
Resolve.
driving in. Like, oh, the manga thing, and they wanted to resolve, like, the editor plagiarism thing. I feel like there probably could have been a little bit more of, like, an emotional satisfaction with that. Of, like, Haruka having a moment between herself of, like, getting out of her slump. Like, it seemed
Which
like
they somewhat had it.
They, like, dipped their toes into that, but, like, didn't fully commit to it. And it's like, oh, okay, whatever. But I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's like we even got all the stuff about the Juto forest and everything. We don't know how she got there, but we know that, like, she can get in there.
Mm-hmm.
We also don't know, well, I guess just because she's part of the Dawn Brothers. Which, by the way, again, I like how she's like, I just want a vacation. So it's like, how long was she gone? Like, was she gone from their time? And, like, does that matter in their time, though?
Well, I guess if you're, like, traveling through space and time, it's like, oh, you're back after 3 seconds. That was quick. I was gone for months. 3 seconds here. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, who knows? So, I don't know. It was a very interesting episode, and it just kind of makes you be like, what is this end game? What is the goal here? You know?
mm-hmm.
Like, it's making me, like, have to question almost everything. Which, this is not the only show that's making me question everything.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that in a second. Put a pin in that. But yeah, no. And we do have Kaji brother, like, they all started asking about their future. And I'm realizing, how did did he just straight up ignore Jiro's asking about the future?
Yeah, he ignored Jiro. Like, with Miho, because he asked, like, oh, how is me and Miho? He's just like, I am not answering that. And, like, he completely avoided the question.
Yeah, there might be a good reason for that one.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Again, I like how Sonoda's just like, you need to kill her. Kill her now.
You know what's
Which,
funny?
by the way, the Murasame thing, I like how he's just like, wait, what's Murasame doing? Stop. Stop it.
I'm realizing it's kind of interesting that, like, the mother voice was just like, he's not allowed to exist. He should not
Eradicate him.
Eradicate.
Eliminate.
Murder. Exterminate.
Exactly. Do you have any final thoughts on Dawn Brothers?
Like, do you want to get into the preview or anything?
I think that's
You want us to just save that for later?
I think that's just gonna save it for next week,
Alright.
because all it is just gonna us be like, what's gonna happen? Is this really happening? Is this going? Because you think about last week's preview when we saw it, where it was like you saw Tsubasa in the bunny costume and Sononi, and it's almost like they were trying to trick you that they were trying to do like a scheme or something to like with Haruka. You know what I mean? So, but it's like, yes, those moments happened in the episode, but it happened way in deeper order. You know what I mean? Like, so it's unpredictable to tell. It's just next week's episode's gonna be fucked.
Also, we saw Oni's sister using the Falcon.
Oh, the Phoenix.
Yeah, the Phoenix.
So
and it looked really cool. And also heard Shen just like high-fiving.
yeah, them high-fiving
really
when he was in Robotaro form, because it's like they're like, we gotta get the fuck out of here because we're about to get sucked back up into space-time and go home.
It was interesting.
It was very interesting. Honestly, it was a spectacular episode.
It was a great episode.
Like, it's one of those that answered so much, but also made you, it's like, for everything it answered, it just made you experience and wonder where it's like, what are these pieces setting up for? It's like, it expanded on the idea.
This show is gonna break me really hard. And I feel like
Wait,
it's
there's
gonna
one thing
happen
I want to
soon.
say that's going to happen next week. It took us 44 fucking episodes. 44 fucking episodes. All 6 of our characters are in the same room transforming together while being in human state before transforming.
Yep.
They finally find out Inoue brother who he is next episode.
Fucking, oh my god.
44 weeks!
It took nearly the whole show. They fucking bamboozled us. But, like, didn't we even think about it? Just like, they're gonna wait until the very end, aren't they?
It's like,
And
that
they
started
did.
feeling about it. Yeah, like, I remember early on we're like, they're like, oh, there's no way they're gonna be. Where did that one special come in then? That we didn't watch.
I wonder if it's after the show.
It's post, yeah.
It's just post-show.
Oh my god, that'd be funny. And or it's just somewhere near the end game, so it's just somewhere in between 44 and 45.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell,
I
man?
guess, I guess we'll just... I want to wait until at least we see like the ending of the next episode in order to decide whether we want to watch the next. So.
But yeah,
or,
no,
the special that is, which is funny because like we didn't watch that because we're like spoilers, but now it's like
don't matter.
it like doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. All right. But say, got anything else to say about Dawn Brothers?
Not really.
All right, we got Kamen Rider Geats. First things first, we saw the transformation lessons or whatever they were called. Those were hilarious and kind of adorable because it was literally just Ace showing Tycoon how to transform and do everything.
And this is like baby Tycoon, like when he was just starting to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like this was released forever ago, and I just found subs for it, and I was just like, "Oh, let's watch it. It could be funny."
It's funny, like some of the effects for the transformations weren't there, so you could tell that they had a little bit of a tight budget.
They also reused a ton of footage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which it was a fun little cute thing, you know.
It was fun, yeah.
Okay, this is another situation to where I don't know exactly where to start. Outside of saying this is a new game.
Tell you what, let's start with like actually the intro because we did notice a couple of things in the intro.
Yeah, but some of the stuff in the intro comes into the show later, which I guess, let's just mention it now. Yeah, by the way, again, I'm still 90% sure this guy's paying off the intro guy. Like, we have a whole, oh my god, he's both. He's the writer and intro guy.
I guess so. I love that we just called whoever makes the intro guy.
Don't you want to be the intro guy?
I'd have fun being the intro guy.
Yeah, so we pretty much, it's obviously new game, so we got our new set of players.
It's actually a small group this time.
Yeah, so there's only 5 of them. So...
the new characters are, we have a wolf lady who is very athletic.
Lopo.
And then we have a sparrow who is a very big nerd.
Nudge Sparrow.
It's an absolutely terrible
We'll
haircut.
get into that. We'll get into him in a second.
His haircut.
In the
Awful.
images, but then we get a weird vined out look at Buffa. He's still in the intro, baby.
He's still there, baby.
Yeah.
Also, we did see a brief flash of a new card on screen.
Yeah, which was who is the backstabber?
Yeah, something like that.
That was like, yeah, that's the new card. That comes into play with what the new game rule is.
So I guess I'll get this started with. After, like, we get, like, a brief introduction of everybody, they all go back to, like, the back room or whatever the fuck, and we meet the new game master.
Who's a fucking psychopath.
He's actually really fucking crazy and really weird.
What was his name?
I don't fucking remember, but, well, we can just call him Game Master for now.
Well, yeah, the game master.
And when I tell you, like, he changed the show drastically, because it went from a death game to Big Brother.
I love it.
I'm not even kidding you guys. It is legitimately just Big Brother.
Yeah, they're like, now they have to live together and
yeah,
shit.
Like, they not only do they live together, but there's like...
They're always being watched.
There's a Dia star, which is funny because
Just dies. Yeah. It sounds like disaster.
And which is basically a spy that's amongst the group. And the whole thing is like, oh, if the spy can make it to the end of the round without being caught, they get to steal the title of the Desire God, right?
Yeah, they can subvert it from whoever it is.
Jeremy?
Game Master.
Game Master.
Until we can figure out how to pronounce it, it is Game Master. Mm-hmm. The new Game Master.
But
yeah, no,
again, it's just Big Brother.
Well, yeah, now it's like they even changed like the ranking system. It's no longer like points or anything. It's like people interest. Exactly. Whatever. And like you don't even hear how you watch it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can very much tell because like here's the thing that like we didn't mention. These new people, a part of the group, are actually past contestants
of the game
that recognize Geats.
Yeah, so they're past rivals.
So I even mentioned, I'm just like, are they just upping the drama? And they absolutely are.
Well, you know the reason they gave like the disaster thing, like that's totally because what the Game Master did last time. I bet you the audience loved the angle that Punk Jack was playing. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, what if we make that a game mechanic? And like, I think it's so funny. And, oh yeah, well, also the Among Us thing. I like, is that like they even say it? You know what I mean?
Pretty much. much. Like, oh, there's an imposter.
Among Us, there is
Pretty sus,
there
actually.
yeah, like Among Us is a spy because they were handpicked by one of staff.
There's an imposter Among Us or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, like once like they learned that they're just gonna be like living there, everybody just took a section.
Except for Tycoon. He had to go. Well, he had to go call his sister and be like, "Hey, I might not be back for a little bit." Okay.
She's like, "Is it a girlfriend?" And he's like,
"No."
I think it's funny because he actually kind of like looked towards Sarumi.
Yeah.
Like, and she's no.
She's like, "No." Which we also like in like everyone is accusing anybody of being the disaster.
Mm-hmm. I had a couple of theories based off of different points. Like, I remember it's just like...
You immediately thought Geets.
Because that's his thing.
He's the trickster. And that's what everyone thinks. But I think it's too obvious Andy's the title character. I don't think it's going to be him.
And, obviously, it's like, my next guess would have been the Sparrow, just because... Like, Geets had a really good point later in the episode where it's like, oh, like, a fox, a wolf, a cat, and a tycoon, you know? All things that, you know, people know not to trust, but the humble sparrow.
Nobody pays attention to the humble sparrow.
Yeah, but also he's just a fucking dick, and I hate him. And it's
oh yeah, I hate him.
He always seems to be like the smart guy kind of thing, but like he was also
he has the dumbest hair
around, so it's like I don't know.
Well, yeah, that needs like he admits. Like he doesn't know what Geets is doing. He can't predict it. But meanwhile to the other three, he's like, "Oh, you're like an open book to me with my stupid bowl cut and my rat tail."
He has a bowl
Bro,
cut
take one
rat.
off. Take one off, or I'm teasing you for life. Like
it makes me want to shove you in a locker.
Like
I don't like.
That. I hate him. He's just an annoying dickwad, and I hope he dies.
Also,
like I could quite say that literally.
There's one. Though there is one that I have that I want to voice just to make sure that it is on camera that I am saying this. I honestly think it's Wolf Girl, Lopo.
Lopo. I think it's Lopo.
I honestly think it is her. One, because like she seems to be like the one that like people aren't really paying attention to.
But she's also causing a bunch of shit and also blaming a bunch of shit.
Yeah,
but like that could be a red herring as well.
But like my main reason is because there was like a joke that was in here where when they first learned about the spy, like 3 different people were like, "It's you," kind of thing. And Tycoon pointed at her, and I'm just like, well, what are the odds of Tycoon just kind of being right off the bat?
Well, but then they also think Tycoon might be it.
Yeah, I think, and honestly, like with a couple of things that you pointed out with like, because they were playing cards and he like picked up the Joker and he like looked at it a certain way at one point when they were having a conversation about there being
and then it cuts to the game producer the next thing,
and then so it's like I think that's actually pretty decent as well because he seems to be acting kind of weird.
Did I say producer?
Producer?
Yeah, because after the Joker thing, they immediately go to Lord Reginald.
Right. I don't know. I didn't hear you. I was talking. Sorry.
And it's something that I think is really interesting.
Are we still recording?
Yeah. Yeah, we're fine. Nothing's wrong.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's something like that I think is really interesting because it keeps you on edge and it almost is trying to convince you of it, but it's like, I don't know. I will be shocked and awed if they actually don't make it one of the 2 new characters. That would be very interesting. Hell, I'm realizing there's a really good excuse of how they could make it where it could be Nago. Or Niago.
Because...
It's like her dad's a sponsor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we do find out this episode because Geets meets blue-haired kid. Highlighter. Which, by the way, that was one of the reasons fucking Sparrow was thinking
that
it was Geets because he's like, hey, come on, what's his catchphrase? Highlights. That maybe he knew that this was a show the whole time. Where it's like,
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Geets kind of figured it out after a certain point because even we theorized about it and we haven't been around for thousands of years potentially.
Yeah. We'll get into stuff with Geets later. But yeah, he's like, and like, this guy's a fanboy of Geets.
Oh yeah, when he pulled him in, I thought he was just going for a kiss.
Like, yeah, he was so excited to meet him. He's like, oh, your record would be unblemished if the Game Master didn't.
Why do I feel like he's a potential, antagonist?
Oh, he might be. like, there's rumors, like, right now he might be one of the gun riders because we think there's an Arctic fox. What's his blue streak?
It's the same person.
We'll have to see. Because, and remember, they said, oh, his, like, partner. So I guess, like, that's his, like, sponsor.
Yeah.
Like, he's sponsoring Geats.
Yeah, I think he even says, oh, I'm your sponsor.
I think so. And he's pretty much just like, yeah, I can't wait to see what else you can do and everything else. So, overall...
He even mentions stuff about his mom.
He's like, oh, I hope you figure out your life and everything else.
Mm-hmm. And then, speaking of, we actually get some interesting information of Reginald talking with
his
Yellow
assistant.
Dress Lady.
His assistant.
Of, like, how do you want to go about this conversation?
Where she was just like, hey, I'm surprised you okayed, because we also get all of the people's desires. Like, that's not a hidden thing right now. Mm-hmm. Nyagos and Tycoons are the same that they were. Lopo's is just to keep her athleticism. Go fuck yourself.
But just like she doesn't want to like deplete with age or something like that.
Exactly. And Nudge wants. And Nudge Sparrow won.
Of human memory.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't like that, and I don't want you to win for that fact. You should not have my memories.
Yeah, that was the part.
Dickwad.
That seems like very poorly worded. Like if it could have been like, oh, the collective knowledge of humanity, I would have understood. But like the entirety of everyone's memories, it's like literally like the entirety of billions of people's memories. I feel would just overload your brain. You'd probably just have a fucking aneurysm and die. Like
yeah, but it's also, this is a magical game world that can grant any world you want, so I think it could work.
I don't know, man. But
he's probably not gonna win, so it don't matter. But
and Geetz's
he wanted to be game master.
Yeah.
He wants to be game master, and Lord Reginald's like, because I want to see how. Well, let's just let him do as he pleases to see if we can figure out.
See if he breaks the game.
Yeah, see this, so we could see who he truly is, because he says if he says who his mother is, true, that should be impossible, which we don't know why.
Yeah.
He just, for whatever reason, he says like Mitsune, whatever. Geetz's mom. Geetz's mom.
Yeah.
Couldn't have a child. Like, you know what I mean? For some reason, like we don't know.
I honestly feel like
I about to say I have a little bit of a thing.
Okay.
Which we mentioned. I about to say maybe we mentioned it before. I can't quite remember. Where it's like, what if the game navigators, because we're all wondering how this is a simulation and everything. How can they control it and all of that? Like, what if like the game navigators are like synthetic people, like they're AI almost to an extent, and like that's why. Like Geets is such a weird case because he shouldn't be. It's like where it's like because they don't even mention a dad or anything. Oh my God, was she a Wait, is Geets Jesus? He's no longer the apostle and is now the savior himself. Jesus. Holy shit, that's a plot twist.
Oh my God.
He's Jesus too. wait, I'm sorry, Anakin's Jesus too.
He's Jesus 3.
Yeah. They need to team up like the Spider-Man.
The Third Rising.
Oh my God. Okay, wait, where was I? Oh yeah, AI, and like that's what, like, is that what's gonna break the game? Like, what are they trying to figure out too? And if you remember from last episode, like the kid who's like also talking to Lord Reginald and all of them, and like when he was watching last time, he was like, oh, I can't wait to see your life and your death. So it's like, I'm very suspicious on what they're doing there. You know what I mean? And there were like interviews with the name, with all the names and everything from the writer. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I hid some stuff within the names and everything, but I'm not. And he's like, I can't tell you aces because that might be a spoiler. I can't explain you aces. Because like we found out, like, I can't remember if it's how it's phrased or something, but like I know Sarumi's name is like means something about like having your eyes shut. Or it's like, and he's like, oh, that kind of represents all the stuff that she had to do, turning a blind eye for what the game master was doing.
Right.
So it's like, that was kind of that. But so it's like, he explained a couple more of them too. But like, he was like, I'm not explaining aces yet. He's like, that would spoil the show.
Which I'm fine with.
So, about to say, meanwhile, maybe in the
Well,
future, where you guys are at, maybe he's already explained it.
Well, we do know that he has a mom, so he was the ace in the hole.
Oh my god, you made that joke. That's a real joke you just made.
Yeah.
Are you proud of yourself?
Not really.
Oh my god.
Is
Yeah,
there
so
more to talk about?
there's a plenty more to talk about. Because I want to talk about their game, which is just they have to kill a principal.
But can I say one thing real quick? Because we see Buffa, and he is alive. He wakes up, and he's walking and talking. But we really don't get any information out of it other than...
He talks to the gardener.
alive.
He's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's just like, "Oh, you're a lively one. I can't believe you brought yourself back to life." And he's
like, "Fuck off."
He's just like, "Who the
spicy."
fuck are you?" He's just like, "Oh, wait, but don't you want to destroy all the riders?" And I'm like, "Don't tempt my boy. You know that's his favorite pastime."
Killing riders.
Well, not killing them.
Well, he's trying.
Well, he wants to kill them. He wants to wipe them all out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, with his
But,
wish.
I mean, I feel like we need to mention it because it's in there, and yeah, Buffa's alive, and...
Just walking around.
But, like, that's all we really got from that.
And one other thing. I guess if we're talking about this now. We see the Rook Jamato that we've been seeing around. And, like, he's just like, "Oh, your comrades are dead, Rook. Your turn is up." And you slowly see him, like, start, like, warping and changing. He's like, and, like, all of a sudden, like, he starts slowly gaining a human form. And Buffa's like, "What the hell?"
And guess what? We recognize him.
It's Shiroi.
Mm-hmm.
From episode 1, our first death, and we see him. Which, does this confirm that the Jamato are the past riders? Maybe, but like
we don't know the exact what's going on, like what has to be, like the ID cores or like their actual
it's like is
bodies.
the corpses and the ID cores two different things?
We don't really know at the moment, but that's what we can confirm is like the Jamato are the riders in some way or form.
Yeah, at least maybe the high level Jamato.
At least, yeah.
Like, like, that's how it ends, and you're just like, wait, what the fuck? And it just makes you wonder. It's like, are we gonna see more? Where it's like, what are these corpses being used for? You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's like, are the Jamato, like, some of those Jamato plants that, like, we see hanging there, do they, like, start growing around, like, the corpse and everything? Because even Buffa's like, "I thought I died."
Yeah, he's like, well, he like forced himself back to life or something.
Well,
like that?
it was the zombie buckle.
Right.
He is a true zombie now. Which...
a dangerous zombie.
Oh my god. And that was X-Aid. And it was written by the same guy. Dan confirmed. I would not be surprised if...
Except God's blessings and grace.
Oh my god. I can't wait for it to be revealed in like an X-Aid crossover that Dan and Genom Corp are one of the sponsors for the Desire Grand Prix.
It was like at least a background gag. I feel
like a background gag. Oh my god, they should do that, and then also have Hayden Intelligence be one. So it's like both the companies just floating there, like Arturo's there with Izu.
And I feel like Bowser of all people would be the one that would participate in something like this.
Oh, just by watching it?
It's like, yes, fight for my amusement.
Well, I pet my robot dogs. My 5 robot dogs.
What were you gonna go into before I mentioned Buffa?
The game and everything. It's like pretty much like they're like, you have to kill a bunch of delinquent Jamato, and you have to defeat the principal to stop them all.
And we get a new buckle.
Yeah, we do. We get the Power Builder buckle, which that is a really cool toy. And yeah, we pretty much find out there's like a secret mission and everything. And pretty much we find out
Kill the nerd.
Yeah, it was pretty much kill the nerd, kill a non-delinquent Jamato. And like they get the builder buckle and they're like, "What are we supposed to do?" And it was the builder buckle. So he immediately was like, "Oh, there's no principal's office. I'll build one." And then they build the principal's office. The principal walks up. And then they're all just like, "Get him!" And then Lopo just literally wastes no time and just chucks them out the door.
No, she grabs him and jumps out the window with him.
Which by the way, she's doing like these sprinting moves.
Yeah, she'll move over things like hurdles and like she's just very athletic, which makes sense.
It does.
I think it's just really cool how you can tell the different
They
fighting
all have
styles.
different fighting styles. Yeah, it's really neat. And also, monsters being used by Sparrow, which is weird. Which he's still holding like the glasses poses, which good for him. But like
even like when he runs and is fighting and shit.
I'm just like he's
and
adorable.
Lobo has zombie, which I think actually looks really cool.
With the wolf head?
Oh yeah. Especially like the color with the wolf head. The purple and the blue go really well together.
It does. Honestly, I will say the new suits look good. Well, okay, wait, not Ned Sparrow. Ned Sparrow looks weird.
Sparrow looks gross. I'm sorry. I hate it.
They lobbed off the eyebrows of Penguin and Owl.
And you were joking like, oh, is he like down with Mary now? And I'm just like, wow, he might be. Because he's so annoying.
He's just like
such a shit.
I think that's his purpose though, so it's like I don't hate it. It's like I'm not gonna be mad about it yet, but like
his fucking suit looks like a weird bird nut sack. I mean,
well, yeah, but it's like I feel like it's too obvious that it might be him, and it's like them somewhat downplaying him, like trying to convince you. Where it's like I think you're right. I'm thinking it's Lopo from simply just because, like, Tycoon pointed at her, and they often show like how good Tycoon's luck is and all of that. And, like, even immediately, she gives you that, like, you're like, oh, she's, like, somewhat evil vibes, aren't she?
Yeah, like, just immediate, like, standoffishness.
You're just like, oh, I don't...
And also a little bit of, like, I guess pride, because, like, she was, like, still, like, striking poses and stuff at the very beginning.
Well, yeah, it's like, and then we get the reveal, like, it's audience score that, like, is what gets people to
I guess, like,
win.
She's kind of, like, the cold and cool type, you know, and she's a wolf, and... badass and uses zombie.
Which
she's basically discount Buffa.
She's not as good Buffa.
That's why I said discount Buffa.
But discount would mean it would have equal, if not the same percentage at some point.
That's what? No.
But either way, can we talk about the ratings, by the way? Because I need to talk about how Tycoon got 1%.
Here's the thing. Like, I almost wonder if he's
It's getting set up.
I don't think he is because, like, in the preview we did see that he's just like, how do I prove I'm not? You know, but it's like, he's been kind of acting like a little bit of a wang. Like, he's not like a jerk, but, like, he's just kind of like, like,
well, yeah, you need to be more proactive, bro.
He's kind of acting a little weird for whatever reason, so.
Yeah, well, it's like, the whole thing that he's dealing with recently is just because the Jamato are saying stuff dead people are saying. You know what I mean? So he's just like, how could... He's pretty much now having the dilemma of, like, what are these Jamato and should I be killing them? You know what I mean? Like, that's what he's having, and I can somewhat agree, where it's like, would you not hesitate if you could know that, like, what you were killing was a person when you were getting told it was a monster?
I don't know, ask Guy. I'm sorry.
You're not wrong. That's upsetting.
You.
That's upsetting. I'm not okay.
I'm sorry.
But...
I love you.
But yeah, no, it's something that it's really going to be interesting when it's ultimately revealed if it is Tycoon, if it is Nyago. I'll be very shocked if it's any of our main three characters, because they're our main three characters. And, like, again, especially since we know all the desires on the table.
I honestly do think it might be Geats, if only just because the condition of, if they don't get discovered, they get to sweep the win, essentially. So it makes me wonder if, like, that's how he's going to win. Or do you think it's going to be like, Geats is, like, struggling because, like, winning is completely different now? And,
well,
like,
that's somewhat we saw, because he didn't even have the size.
And maybe it'll be Tycoon and he sweeps it from under everybody.
Yeah. I can't wait till we see Tycoon's sponsor, the frog.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, but we were in the middle of a different conversation of just, I wonder who the 1% is.
It's the frog guy. He loves that. He loves that little Tanuki son of a bitch.
Who doesn't?
Like, and again, it's like, I feel like
I'm realizing, I think I said, like, when I was quoting Geats, I said a Tycoon instead of a Tanuki.
Oh, yeah?
I think I may have messed up.
I think you said Tanuki, though.
Either way.
I do like that, like, they set up in everything for you to question everything. It's like you're unsure, and especially now that they're having to live together. Again, them changing the game style completely
is interesting.
It's very interesting, and it's keeping things very fresh, and I'm still just like, what is going on? Like, what is the plan here? And now it's like we're having this element of, like, now wondering what even is Geets himself. Like, now we're even having to question, is he human? Is that why he can be 2,000 years old? Like, you know what I mean?
I think, because you had asked me earlier, like, which of the things that we watched today do you think, like, intrigued me the most? I think it might be Geets at the moment, because looking back on Dawn Brothers, like, as I was watching it, I was having a great time and, like, fully invested and was enjoying it, but, like, Geets, like, I keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say, like, that one, Geets probably wins today.
Like, I can agree with that, because it's like you said, it's opening up such a new game and everything, and they put so many new pieces in place, where Dawn Brothers, as spectacular and amazing as it was, it's leading towards the conclusion,
yeah,
and
so
you're
it's
just
like,
more...
It's providing more answers than questions at this point, which is like the
but
first
expanding,
time,
but
it's like the first time we've seen that, and it's kind of nice because that means that we're gonna start getting more and more answers.
But like leaving breadcrumbs towards answers.
Because like towards like the ultimate ending, I guess.
Exactly, and it's overall really interesting, and Geets is continually being like the... Like, where are you going with this? It's very
it's like just picking its pace up, essentially.
Well, yeah, it's like we're at 16 right now, like...
So it's in its full stride.
Like, last week, like, when we compare that to Revice was about... Were the dead man taken down by now?
I think it might have either been leading up to that, or it was at about that point.
Well, yeah, because... I know episode 8 was when Evil first showed up, so I know, like...
Revice was so good.
I love Revice.
It's a great show.
So, yeah, no, Geets was a great time. Do you think you know where you'd put Lopo and Nudge Sparrow in the rankings?
Not yet. It's still kind of early.
I don't think it's fair to, but yeah, no. But I do think Nudge Sparrow is a fucking wang. I don't like him. I don't like his bull haircut. I don't like his rat tail.
I just want to cut his hair.
Like, I get it, and it's like, I'm nothing against this actor. He's doing a good job. It's just, he does not, I don't like him as a person, and I just, not the actor, the character. Feel bad if the actor was just like, are you calling me out? And I'm like, no. Because you know the actor definitely listens to the show in a language that maybe he may or may not speaks.
Definitely, for sure.
Yeah, it's his favorite show. Little did you know that we were becoming a Nudge Sparrow fucking fan channel.
Apparently.
No, not really. But if you're a Nudge Sparrow cosplayer...
It's been one episode. Cosplayers work fast. I don't know if they work that fast.
Also, why would you work that fast on that character?
Why would you want to look like a nutsack ASAP?
It's just like, why would you... I thought it was going to be like Seal or something, like they were going to change it.
I honestly, when I first thought I thought it was going to be something like Turkey Vulture, like birds that legitimately just don't have feathers on their head.
Maybe.
That's what I thought that they were going with, but I don't think so anymore.
Which, by the way, where's Punk Jack?
Where is our boy?
I'm very concerned on where he is.
Very distraught.
Like, oh god.
What have they done to my boy?
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this week. That was,
If they just, like, ignore his existence, I'm gonna be so mad.
Like, yeah, if it's just he exploded off screen and that's it, I'm gonna be like...
Oh, right.
I'm gonna be like, but... I hope he comes back, like, to give Ace some information, you know? Unless his memory was wiped and he's just kind of...
Something.
Just, like, eating Campbell's soup to stay alive. Like, because that's all he can afford.
That's so weirdly specific. What?
I don't know why specifically Campbell's soup, but it was just... I was just thinking about, like, you know, like those down in luck, like, artists that can't get any gigs.
Nothing but ramen.
Yeah, like they're just trying to live their life. They have their little soup can asking for money, but also put it down as they play music.
They play like an old harmonica.
Yeah, but this time he has a neon orange guitar, so...
Yeah!
Like, yeah, he's getting noise complaints, and all he has left is that one can of chicken noodle soup, and he's becoming a snowman, and he needs to cure snowmanism by having the chicken noodle soup. If you've watched the...
Directed by Michael Bay.
It was! So, yeah.
Funny enough, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's enough of rambling. Final thoughts?
Just good shows, man. I'm so fucking sad Dawn Brothers is ending.
But then,
What a great show.
Geats is
Geats
going
is-
in
Geats is
stride.
amazing.
King Oger
Oh,
looks
one
interesting.
thing, I don't think we mentioned this in the previous episodes. We're getting another Sentai. We're getting
No,
another
we did.
Sentai after Dawn Brothers.
We mentioned it.
Did we?
Yes. I don't remember what
we did it, guys. We bought enough Donati Taijins to get another show, and it looks cool. I
don't think
the
that's
suits.
why. I think it's just Dawn Brothers was good and it's getting well received, and they're like, okay.
Adam, it's called a joke. And you say that, but we have that boy in our living room right now.
He's lovely. I have a video of him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, thank you so much for listening. This was quite a dense week.
Yeah, a little bit of a long one.
I think most of it was Geats, honestly.
I will admit it will probably be just as long, if not longer, next episode, because not only are we going to have
more Dawn Brothers.
Dawn Brothers in the end game, we're also having Decker that's going to be ending very, very soon. And then also Geats looks like it's...
Geats this is how long we talk about Geats. We just talk about Geats for a while.
Yeah. So it's like the next one's also probably going to be pretty long, but we hope you at least had a good time.
So yeah, no, what are your guys' thoughts and theories on Geats? Who do you think the disaster is?
Yeah, this is actually
legitimate who do you legitimately think it is? Do you think it...
why?
Yeah, exactly. Tell us why. And or just give us vaguely just like maybe a character that has an animal motif on their head. You know, you can ask those questions.
That really narrows it down. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, I know. It's you pretty much just committed to that one person. I know. You can't.
I wonder if there's a reason that they're all based off of an animal.
Because they're all lambs for the slaughter.
Well, I mean, legitimately think about that for a second. Like, every single one is based off of an animal. The only one that we got close to not was Punk Jack. But he was still a bear. It makes me wonder, it's like, is there a reason? Or is that just, like...
I think it has to go with their personalities, maybe?
Yes, but I don't know. I don't know.
We'll have to see.
Food for thought, I guess.
It is a food for thought.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening, guys. We
really
appreciate it.
Again, put your theories and everything down in the comments. And until whatever we do next, bye.